My brothers and sisters of Steeler Nation, what is going on this cold, gloomy, but somehow exciting Sunday of Steeler football? Steel Sermon in the house, recapping the Steelers and the Saints game. Steeler Nation, wave them terrible towels. I don't have mine with me right now because I left it in the living room. But if you got your towel, wave it high in pride. Wave it proud. Because we get the job done over the New Orleans Saints 20-10. In what was just an amazing win. A great game. This right here, Pittsburgh Steelers football. We're going to be physical. We're going to beat you in the mouth. We're going to punch you in the gut. We're going to uppercut you. We're going to hook you. Like I said in my pregame, you got to win fist fights in order to be successful in this league, and that's what the Steelers did this afternoon. They stood in that boxing ring all afternoon. They kept jabbing away at the New Orleans Saints. Saints gave us a couple jabs themselves, gave us a couple uppercuts, but what did we do? Instead of laying down on the ground and quitting so the Saints could knock us out, we get right back up and we keep on attacking. And that is the kind of game plan that I like to see from none other than our head coach, Michael Petaway Tomlin. Now, yes, for those of you that know, I am a heavy critic of Mike Tomlin. I come on here and I bash him a lot and I say this and that about him. But you guys also have to know this. I will always come on here and give credit to Tomlin where it's due. And I think today he deserves a ton of credit. Coming off a bye week, getting TJ Watt back, you're down Minkah Fitzpatrick at the 11th hour for this game. You put in his replacement, who ended up with an interception today. Okay? 2 INTs for the Pittsburgh Steelers today. So you got to give credit to Tomlin there, giving him his chance and catching a pick off a tip. Granted, it was tipped, but he got the pick. And then after that, what immediately happens? I know I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but what happens after that pick? Steelers take right advantage of it, drive down the field, get in the goal line. You know, mainly most of it has to do with the Saints getting defensive pass interference. And what does Tomlin do at the goal line? What does Matt Canada call at the goal line? Does he call an end around? A wildcat? Or does he call a QB sneak by Kenny Pickett at the 1-yard line? If you guessed a QB sneak by Kenny Pickett at the goal line for a rushing touchdown, you are correct, my friends. And that wasn't the only time that he did it today. Kenny Pickett snuck it once for a first down. He snuck it twice for a first down. And then he snuck it a third time for a touchdown, completing the hat trick. Kenny Pickett, though, for as good of a second half that Kenny Pickett had, at least in the fourth quarter that Kenny Pickett had today, the first 3 quarters by Kenny Pickett were not so great. And look, I'm not going to come on here and kill him for it. I'm not going to call him out on it. But I will say, this is his first really bad game as a Steeler, okay? Because when you see him in the pocket, just bouncing around and all that, and, he's, again, just staring down receivers, and he's trying to force passes that he can't make, I just hope that's all part of, the developmental process and just the growing pains. But Pickett can't keep doing that. I mean, like I said, he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him, to develop it. But he can't play like that consistently. And it's not that it's forgotten that he played very poorly in the first half. It's that it's forgiven because we won the game. But Kenny Pickett made up for it in the fourth quarter. Because it's like, you know what? It's our game to lose. It's my start to lose. I've already lost this team a bunch of starts already. I'm off to a bad start. We're coming off a bye. I'm going to come off a clean slate and lead this team to a victory. And that's exactly what Kenny Pickett did. He was making decisions. He was being patient. He got sacked a couple of times today, not going to lie. He did. Drove me insane if you saw me in the chat. But he made up for it big time in the fourth quarter. He had that freaking it factor today. And what do I mean by that? Ben's had the it factor his entire career. And Big Ben, ironically enough, was in the stands today. But Big Ben had that it factor his entire career. When we needed to get a game winner and we needed to come up clutch late in the game, you could always trust to put it in Seven's hands. And I was saying that for weeks about Kenny Pickett. I don't know if he can be that guy for us. I don't know if we need a fourth quarter comeback and we can totally rely on Kenny Pickett. Today, he showed us that maybe we can. He drove us down the length of the field, punctuating off of those two interceptions. We drove the ball like 60 yards to seal up the game. So Kenny Pickett, bravo today. You had a sloppy first half, mediocre third quarter, but you came through when it mattered the most. And I'm proud of Kenny Pickett for that. I'm more than happy to call him my freaking quarterback. But the biggest thing on offense that I like to see today, the running game. The running game today, I give the running game a massive round of applause for today. Najee Harris. I put out a video about him a couple weeks ago after the Philly game saying Steelers should start listening to trade offers for Najee Harris. Well, I guess that guy watched that video because today he had his best game of the season. Bursted through for a 36-yard run. At one point, Najee Harris had more total rushing yards than the Saints had total yards as a team. That is how great Najee played today. He was finding holes today. He was getting yards after the carry. He was evading blockers. He was making big plays as he trucked over a guy during that 36-yard run. And it's something I love to see. I just wish we could see more of it. Najee Harris has so much potential to be a top running back in this league. If he turns in more performances today, the rest of the season like he did today, then that video is going to age real bad. And hey, I'm not afraid to be wrong on here, as you guys have seen in the past. I'm not afraid to be wrong on here. But at that time, you really couldn't blame me because he was doing stupid stuff like dancing around just waiting to be tackled. He wasn't doing that today. Jaylen Warren, playing well as he always did. George Pickens ran in for a touchdown today on an end around. Whenever that guy gets the ball, I mean, it's always good. That guy is just money for us, and that guy has such a high ceiling. I love George Pickens. You know, just a great overall player. I mean, yeah, the hurdle was stupid because he was already out of bounds and nothing was going to go anyway. But, you know, George Pickens is just an absolute monster. That guy just has a phenomenal ceiling, a ton of potential in this league. But what won us the game for today was the defense. Coming into this game, defense was 31st in pass. And you figure that without Minkah Fitzpatrick in this game, that it's going to get, lit up all day by Andy Dalton. And it looked that way at the end of the second quarter. Now, I'm not going to kill the defense for allowing that touchdown before halftime, because it shouldn't have happened. Why? The referees made a terrible call for a personal foul on the Steelers when it was not a personal foul at all. I don't remember who it was on. I'll have to look at the highlight. I can't think of it at the top of my head. I'll probably just pin it down in the comments below. But a personal foul. If a defensive back or any defensive player in general hits a guy with his shoulder, it's a clean hit. So I don't know what the refs, penalized him for anyway. Desperation, I guess. But you can't call a penalty on that. They only made the situation worse for us because earlier they called, fair catch interference on James Pierre when Shaheed literally ran into James Pierre as he was making the catch. So two real bad calls by the officials today. Thank the Lord they didn't come back to hurt us in the end. And the game was tied 10-10 at halftime. What did the Steelers do in the second half? Pitch a shutout. We didn't give up in this game. We didn't surrender. We kicked a field goal when we had the lead. It was 7-0. We elect to kick a 33-yarder with Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright, 2 missed field goals today for him. They weren't even close, too. So, if we're going to see 4 more weeks of that guy, I would think that coming off a win today, knowing that, hey, this guy missed 2 field goals today, and Chris Boswell's going to be out for at least 4 weeks, you better have more kicking auditions, or you better have more kicking tryouts, or find someone else, because Matthew Wright, I just can't see him being on this team. It's not a significant problem. It's not a problem that's like, it's going to hinder our season. But I don't want to see Matthew Wright here. And the only real complaint that I have today as far as offense goes, this is why we get on Matt Canada so much. Because, sure, Kenny Pickett took sacks today. Kenny Pickett tried to force passes today. But I put it 50-50, both on Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada today. Because, you have to put blame on the quarterback sometimes. Kenny Pickett did not play great today. That is a fact. But the reason why he didn't play great is because I don't know what Matt Canada is doing to these wide receivers, but you seriously can't have these receivers run anything longer than a 3-yard out pattern. Like, I swear, every single replay that I saw from these wide receivers today, 3-yard route, 4-yard route, 5-yard route. Have them run a go route. Experiment with someone to be a deep threat. Pickens can be that guy. I know that you're a little thin now because Chase Claypool's not here anymore, and you're trying to use, Steve Sims in the slot a little bit more. I understand that, but don't tell me that you can only say, hey, you guys can only run 3-yard out patterns. Have Kenny Pickett take a shot down the field every now and then. And it was evident with the last play at halftime when I was saying, Hail Mary it. You got nothing to lose. Saints get the ball to start the second half. Hail Mary it. And we weren't even in Hail Mary formation. Kenny Pickett just stands there, gets bounced around in the pocket, gets a sack, and it's halftime. But that's really the only real complaint that I have with the team today. It's, again, just real lazy and sloppy play calling. But the team was able to make up for it when it mattered the most. Defense just did incredible, as I said. Pressured Andy Dalton all day today. TJ Watt, this guy, his presence was so missed for the time that he was out. He got a sack today, I think. Highsmith had a sack today. He was stopping the run. He was getting everywhere in the backfield. Every single time you saw TJ Watt, you saw him in the backfield tackling the running back for a loss, or tackling Andy Dalton, or stopping Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara were non-factors today. The Steelers did exactly what I said we needed to do in the pregame. This is Andy Dalton's start to lose. Make him lose it. And we made him lose it today. I know beating Andy Dalton is nothing special. He's 3-14 in his career against us now. So that's nothing special. But when you factor in that we won today, we're 3-6 on the season now. We win today. The Cleveland Browns got obliterated down in Miami today. And the Ravens and Bengals both had their bye weeks this week. We were the only team in the division to win today. That is a massive confidence booster moving forward next week to play the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that got flexed off of Sunday Night Football. That's a massive confidence booster right there. Minka's probably not going to be in next week. I think he's going to miss some time. Okay? But this right here, you have that same game plan. You cause pressure. You're in the backfield. You have 90 out there, making an impact and, commanding the defense. Our chances of beating the Bengals are going to skyrocket. I know they're a completely different team than week 1, okay? They're a much more complete team now. But we already beat them. You don't... I know I sound like a broken record when I say this. You don't have to sack the quarterback to cause pressure. And we caused pressure today big time. You can see what a difference this defense is when TJ Watt's in here. Now, is TJ Watt's absence the whole reason that we were 2-6 entering this game? Obviously not. Offensive play calling was the majority of the reason. But TJ Watt not being on the field certainly didn't help either. But you can see how much different this team is when TJ Watt's there. And we have to use this the rest of the way. And today was an excellent game. And now, 2 milestones happened today as well. Kenny Pickett, this was his first win when he started the entire game. His first win in the big leagues, starting the entire game. And Mike Tomlin has now at least one win against all other 31 teams in the league. He came in, yeah, that's right, Tomlin came in 0-3 against the New Orleans Saints today. He now has a win against them. So Tomlin's beaten every other team in the league at least once. The only team he hasn't beaten is this logo here. Just a great game today by the Pittsburgh Steelers. We started off hot, got great drives going, stopped the Saints right in their tracks. We smacked them around. We won the fist fight with them early on. We won round 1. Saints kind of won round 2. It was dead even round 3. And then round 4, we delivered the knockout when Jaylen Warren popped it in for a first down under the 2-minute warning and forced the Saints to use that last timeout. A great win for the Pittsburgh Steelers today. I know the Saints aren't that great of a team. But hey, would we have beaten any of these teams in previous weeks with how we were playing? No. You take the win and you build off of it. Now let's get the frickin' brooms out next week because we got the Cincinnati Bengals coming into our place. Let's get it done. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Steel Sermon, checking on out for the night. May God be with you all. Let's go Steelers!